father's voice call her to get up 3 times. The third time she said Father called out loud, and she jumped to her feet to discover the house was blazing and filled with smoke. She woke up the rest of the children, and they had to go right through the fire to get to the front door. When they got outside, they were all right, but realized the baby was still inside, asleep. My young boy went back in right through the blazing fire to get the baby, and they came outside without a burn on them, she says. Father is the one and only God there is, and no one can take that away from me. None of my children were even singed by the fire or harmed by the smoke. Everyone wants blessings and protections like that, and miracles like you have witnessed here time and time again, every day. But not everyone is willing to do all they can to further God's work. Giving and tithes and offerings is like priming a pump so that blessings can flow from God to you. If you don't prime the pump enough, you cut off your very source of life and health, as we have seen happen so many times with those who have failed, who have held back and robbed God. Remember, we reap what we sow. And this is the most fertile ground on earth, the best place for sowing our seeds of giving. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Is your treasure out there in the world with material possessions and self-indulgent, lustful living? Or is it here where there's greater love than you have ever known? Now is the time for you to decide. Everyone, take an envelope and show where your heart is. And there's a special blessing for those who make their greatest sacrifice.
When I found a bird in front of my house, and I asked my sister to go get some food for it, and she went to go get some, and I went to look for some food too. When I got it, I dropped the bird, and it fell dead, and I told my sister to go get the picture of Jim, and then she got it, and I put it on the bird, and he came back alive.
Yes, the beautiful faith of a child.
Peace. I'm Elder C.C. Hill out of Bakersfield, California. I love you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given you this that would uplift you. I want to know you. Want you to know things that have happened to me since I know Jim Jones. First you started, judgment starts at the house of God. That'll be at my house. First, he healed me of a cancer. He also healed my sister, who had been wearing a brace for 17 years. Healed my wife of heart trouble and eyes. She's quilted many quilts since then. I don't have to thread a needle. But knowing him as long as I have, I want you to know this. I have his spirit.
Well, bless his name.
I'm here to uplift you. Faith is the thing that you lack. We've been brainwashed so long that you just can't get away from it. I want to see you get away from it. There's people in Bakersfield that know me. They knew when I was out in the world. And I too used to bet a little, if you want to know. They know that I did it. When I turned to be a minister, they couldn't hardly accept me. But knowing Jim Jones, and they said I loved him so that we're going to see what he looked like and what he does. So a whole lot of them here today, because I loved him, he did for me, and I went back and let him know it. Now, a lady called me the other day at 87 years old. She had been operated on. I didn't want to see her operated, but she did. We went there and put Jim Jones and called on his name. First, I went to the hospital. I said, you won't be that long. I believe that. I got the faith. 5 days she was home. I went to her home. After she come home, she said, I want you to pray for me. So I'll meditate and call on Jim Jones.
Yeah.
So I put the picture on her. She says, oh, I want some of that oil. I said, I have a mission, and that's what we use our money for. I'm like Jim Jones. I don't get a penny. We will send and get that oil. Cost $5. She said, oh, I thought they'd give it to you. I said, no, we will send and get it. So we did. Now I've rubbed it on her. She called another lady that's got diabetes, hadn't slept in I don't know how many days and how many nights. So she called me and told me she wanted me to come to pray for her. So I went there and told her. She's been here twice. I told her, I said, you lack faith. You were where you would, if you'd kept going and been under his teachings, you would have been healed by now. So now, if you believe in Jim Jones, then I'll lay his picture on you and call on him. Otherwise, I won't. She said, you know, I believe it. So I put it on her. That night she slept fairly well, she says. But she called and let them know that after that next night that she slept better than she had for months.
Yeah. Name of Jim Jones.
Name of Jim Jones done that.
Well, if we make it neat.
Right, now. I want to say this. We have to be obedient. Everything hasn't gone from my body, but I'm like the old patriarch said not to tell.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. Peace and love. My name is Millie Cunningham. I am from Redwood Valley. It's so nice to be here this morning in the living of God. You know, this morning when I walk in the church, I always can feel the love of God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's hear it. Yes.
You know, my sister been had a hard mind. She come to me this morning and she says, I'm coming with you. She said, since you've been gone with this man you talking about, you don't even favor yourself. I told her this morning, if you just only know what my father do. What he do, he'll do for all. He don't love no one no better than he do the other.
Amen. Right.
I just want to tell y'all something. On the 8th of May, I moved to the valley. When Jack Lamb packed they didn't even take an egg or anything out of the box. I said when they loaded, I know my father will take care. Did you know Jack came here and parked the truck? He didn't leave until Saturday sometime. And he didn't get in the valley until Sunday night. He didn't unload my things until about 4 o'clock Monday afternoon. It wasn't an egg. It wasn't a piece of meat. He still had eyes on it. You know it wasn't nobody but my father. And another thing, last Thursday was a week ago. Last Wednesday night was a week ago. We was in service. When I sit there and listen, I don't want to miss a thing. Thursday, Wednesday night, we was on him. We have Sister Precious Father, Sister Sweet Father.
Yes.
We stopped to eat. When we stopped to eat, Paula was standing there. I went to open my grip to eat. All it was, I felt something pushing. I said to Paula, you know this till I come back. I went into the bathroom. I never see so much of filth, so much of blood. When I got up, I was kind of afraid. Something said, don't be afraid. Say, everything's gonna be all right. Do you know I feel all right? I feel just like I'm 16. And when I come to Father, I couldn't even use my own. But now, I feel just like I'm 16. I'm in a new birth. Who do you think? My father.
Thank you.
Okay. Peace and love, everyone. My name is Caroline Washington. I want to thank God for new hope and new life in the church of today. I have been in so many churches before, but I didn't find God until I came to People's Temple.
Yes.
He truly took me out of that miry clay. He put my feet on a rock to stay. He put a song in my soul today, and now I can sing hallelujah.
Yes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I'm going to sing a song, God is Real. Because to me, Jim Jones is real. I'll change the words for that. There are some things I do not know. There are some places that I cannot go. But I am sure of this one thing. Jim Jones is real. Oh, I can feel him with me. Oh, yes, Jim is real. He's so real in my soul. Jim Jones is real, for he has washed and made me whole. His love for me is like pure gold. Jim Jones is real, I can feel him in my soul. And some folk may doubt, some folk may scorn, or can desert and leave me alone. But I am sure of this one thing. Jim Jones is real, for I can feel him with me. Oh, yes, Jim is real. He's so real in my soul. And Jim Jones is real, for he has washed and made me whole. His love for me is like pure gold. Jim Jones is real, for I can feel him in my soul. And I cannot tell, oh, how you felt when Jim Jones took your pains away. But I can say,
Come here, tell him. Come here. Thanks, giving the honor to Pastor Jim. I can't put in words that what he have done for me. Because truly I've been everywhere, taking this child to the doctor. One will get tired of him, he'll send me to the other. And I just taken him last Monday to the clinic, and I'm supposed to take him back Friday. And the Spirit just didn't lead me to get up and take him. I don't know why, but I knew Pastor Jim was with me all the time. And my baby was just getting littler and littler. He was just losing weight by the day. So he 4 years old, he weighed 34 pounds, shoes and clothes all on. And so I just thank you so much. We don't know what we have here. I couldn't wait to get back home to call my mother in Louisiana to tell her. And I know my phone bill will be, I don't know how much, because I done called all of my people just about I knew.
What the dear sister was talking about was that this very young child split up a cancer, was healed of a cancer by the mighty power of God yesterday. All the way in the back of the room, all the way in the back, the spoken word was sent forth, and that child split up that cancer. Hallelujah! Yes! wonderful. You should be able to sympathize with that mother. Praise his name. What's your name?
Okay. I want to say peace to you all. My name is Pearl Cole, Los Angeles. I want to say today that I'm very happy. And I'm so glad I can say I know who God is. For I can only say I know who he is. I know because the things he have done for me. He's proved who he is. I can say it's because of my son. 9 months ago, I met Father downstairs, and I told him that my son was in Korea, overseas, in a prison camp. He asked me not to worry about it, and I didn't, because I believed him. 2 months later, the news came here to this church on a Thursday night that my son had been freed from this prison.
Hey, thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. God. Hallelujah. Hey. God can do anything.
I was so happy. But I know whatever he says, he never leave it till it's done.
Yeah, that's right.
He was freed from the prison, then he was out. But he wasn't free. And they had said that he might be 2 or 3 years alone before he would be able to set his foot back on the state ground again. But I tell you, that's not what my father said.
All right, come on. All right.
This past Monday afternoon, I was sitting in my living room, and I was lying down, the phone rang. And I picked it up, and the voice on the other end says, "Mama." I says to him, I said, "Boy, where are you at?" He says, "Mama, I'm here in the States." He says, "I'm in Oakland, California." I thought I was dreaming, but he was here. And I can tell you Tuesday evening, around about 6 o'clock, my son came to Los Angeles. He's a free man. He came home. They said he wouldn't be free. But my father, my God, said he would be free. He's free. He's free. He's home. He said it would free him, and he freed him. I know time runs short, but I just want to say just one verse of this song. For so long it's been a part of me, and now I know the meaning of it. Just one verse of it. This love God is flowing up today. A perfect love in all God's perfect way.
All right, go ahead.
Not only here, but out in foreign lands. Against God's love, no mortal man can stand. This love, Jimmy, is flowing out today.
Yes, it is.
A perfect love in all Jim's perfect way.
Yes.
Not only here.
We're going to hear a testimony from Brother Crane from Texas, who's had a miraculous healing through Pastor Jim Jones. He came here blind and crippled.
My friends, when I came here the first time, I was wheeled in a wheelchair. But thank God I can walk now.
But spiritually, I am as strong, stronger than I've ever been. And I believe in God. And if I didn't believe in this man, Jones, I would not have spent $600 to come over here twice just to see him. In fact of the business, I saw him before I came here. And just as he is now, that's the way I saw him. I heard him say how many people would give $1,000. That was my second trip over here. And it was kind of slow. And I said, I will. And I did. And I tell you what happened. I was sitting down one night. The church had turned me off on account of him. And they had cut my salary from $1,500 down to $200 a month. And that wouldn't pay my note. But I was sitting there, and one night a man come in and said, I have a check here for you for $2,500. That's it. But my wife said, that's not enough. $3,000 or nothing. He said, well, here's the $3,000. And so he gave me $3,000, and the other $1,000, I don't know where it come from. But I know I got $4,400 from somewhere. Now I believe in telling the truth, and I don't have to lie. This is the truth. In the hospital on the 4th day of June, 1972, I died. I mean, I died.
Yes.
And they wanted my wife to sign a card for autopsy.
Amen.
And wanted to know what kind of, what undertaker, and so on. And she said, I don't believe he's gone yet. So, well, if we come back, he'll be too old. There won't be anything for him to build to. She said, Sarah had a baby when she was 90, and he's only 86. And I heard her from the other world telling me, don't go yet. And I said, I'm coming back. And I did. And I came back with a new look on life. I had been getting money, but I was spending it on myself. And I thought that God was blessing me to do that. Ignorantly, I was going on dressing and buying fine cars and have a $65,000 home and all that kind of thing. And I thought I was doing something. But when I came back from the dead, I saw a new look on life. I said to my wife, I got to give away these clothes to people that is not able to get them. I've got to get away these shoes. Alligators. I said, I've got to get on with the ghettos. Go into the hedges and highways. And compel people to come to Christ. I brought that program to our church. They said you can go out there and get them, but don't bring them to our church. Stay out there with them. But I said I'm going to do it. And under God, I'm going to do it. And I believe in this man. Before I criticize any kind of an organization, I've got to see what's going on. And I've been here, and I've seen what went on. And I have decided, live or die, sink or swim, I'm going to follow him. Wherever he leads, that's the way I'm going. I love him. God bless him. And God is blessing me. And we decided to come here and be here today. And there's 33 of us hit the trail. And we are here today. And I'm satisfied.
Peace and love, everybody.
Peace, darling.
This is Sister Jessie May Long. And I want to stay at the part of Los Angeles and Houston, Texas. I'm one of them out of the 100 that died.
Yes, you are.
I fell dead right there.
Yes, you did.
And I don't know what you all think about it. I wished I had time, but I don't have but a minute to tell you all what this man have done for me. But when I died and got to that place, I saw a man standing. His hair was black as raven. And I looked up at him in this place. And his face I shined the sun. And his face lit up that place. It looked like a city to me. I don't know what it was, a city, but that's the way it looked. And I said to him, Father, I don't want to stay here now. Take me back with you. And he looked at me smiling and raised his hands to me and told me, my child, stand on your feet. So nobody know how to tell me about who he is, because I know who he is. And I have been disobedient, but he loved me still and allowed me another chance. And I thank him this evening. And I just want to let y'all know I died, but I'm alive.
My name is Marvin Weidman. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I can hear the
And in Anaheim and in Long Beach, I bought bricks in them, trying to get my healing. But thanks be to God, one day I met a man. Hallelujah! Yes. Oh, glory. Reached into the stomach of mine. Hallelujah. And he did the things that needed to be done. He is the greatest physician that there is on earth. Oh, glory. There is no more Jim Jones on this earth. Hallelujah. Glory to God. I'm so happy. Oh, today it's all over me. Glory to God, it's all in my bones. Hallelujah. I can't say enough for him. I want to say one thing. Thank God for Jim Jones. Thank God for Jim Jones. Oh, oh yes.
We don't want to forget her beautiful testimony because that dear sister had been operated on 5 separate times. And the last time, listen to this, the last time the doctor stood her up and said, I'm sending you home. He sent her home to die. He said, because there's nothing else I can do. There's nothing else I can do. And at that moment, the last moment of desperation, when there was nothing else that man could do, then Father God stepped in, reached out, spoke the word, and you see how, oh, just like a young child, she can jump around now and talk to you about how good God has been to her, because she knows that if it had not been for our dear father, Jim Jones, that she would be dead today. Mighty God, mighty God. Hallelujah. Praise his name. My God, hallelujah. Come on, brother. Yeah, praise him, sister. That's all right.
May I say peace to everybody in the house? I know it's quite a lot of you here. I don't blame you for rejoicing and jumping and hollering and singing. I just can't believe you. Aches and been down so long. And every way we turned, somebody was against us. There was a bar against you. And you've been praying, we've been praying so long.
Yeah.
And now, I don't blame you for long speeches, because you have something to talk about.
Yeah.
It's wonderful when you know and don't have to guess.
Yeah.
It's wonderful when you go to the hospital and they turn you down and you don't have money to pay, and they just shut you out. Finally, you have to give up and die. But we found a doctor that's able to cure every pain. If he's 1,000 miles from you, he's able to cure you. Not only that, but one that can feed everybody. One that can go to jail and get you out when everybody says, send you a pin, I'll hang you. So I'm not going to say much. I just want to let you know I know him too. The first time I ever saw him, he called me out and healed me. And I've been following him ever since.
Yeah.
It was some time before I could just make up my mind that I could just give up all that I had and been doing and follow this family. But at last, thank God, I made up in my mind I would follow him to the end. This and we close. What made it so permanent and so profound with me, he didn't have to take me somewhere and examine me. He just walked up to me and put his hand on me. And I didn't know I had cancer. I was sitting, I don't know, I can't remember whether this church or one in San Francisco. But I think it was right back there. And I had a pain right here, nagging and aching me. Don't you know how that feels? Haven't you had it? God bless your soul if you haven't had it. Let me tell you, you are blessed all the way along. I don't know one, and you don't know one in this whole boys and girls, men and women that haven't had a pain. And when he came back, stood right there and said, I just cured a minister of a beginning of a cancer. And it struck me so forcible, I couldn't stand up. I just had to sit there and look. And just this, I know you want it, but I was sick, went to the hospital. And I went home. And the pain started again. And I never had a pain like that in my life, older man as I am. It pained me so, I called on everybody and nobody. I couldn't dial the phone. I was so nervous. I'd never been nervous like that. And I went in the bathroom and the blood was just dripping like that, big fleet. And I called on Jim Jones.
Yeah, what happened?
And I said, in my way of being said, I said, Lord, if I die, let me die in peace. This pain is so severe. I just don't want pain like this. But I saw Jim Jones. I saw him with these eyes. He just walked to the door, and I could see his hair as he had the tray, and looked in at me, and the pain began to disappear. You have to excuse me. I'm not used to this. The pain began to disappear, and I began to feel better. And when the car come to carry me to the hospital, the pain was gone. When they carried me up in the hospital and put me to bed, I had no pain. They were right where I went on to sleep. And God bless your soul, I've been resting well ever since.
Peace, everyone, and this great love this Father is teaching us about. My name is Rosie Imes from Redwood Valley, and I came to testify to you, to witness to you, to tell you about this great love that Father is teaching us about. There's greater love than no man, than this one we have with us, Father, who's concerned about all of us, concerned about our ills, our pains, and our health. And as today, I feel like a picture of health. People say you look like a young woman. Well, you know why? Because I found the fountain of youth. Father, the fountain of youth. I can look like a young woman and feel like a young woman. But I want to tell you, dear ones, there was a day when my strength was just ebbing away. I was getting weaker and weaker and didn't realize why. But cancer was throughout my body. My lip glands was all swollen. There was knots on my neck, and I didn't know who. I didn't even realize. But when I went to this doctor, he shook his head. He said, and he was making his notes that cancer throughout my body was nothing he could do. And he called in, making reservations for me in a hospital. And I thought, surely he wasn't saying cancer. You know what they, in his medical terms, he was calling them out. And Father, he wasn't even in Redwood Valley. He was down here with you people. And he knew what was wrong with me. And this doctor, when I went into the hospital, he told her, he says, nothing, you know, he knew I was afraid. And he said, where things are like they look, you may not have to do anything but just go back home in the morning. And what he was saying to me was, dear hearts, that your cancer is throughout your body. There's not a thing I can do. I'll just send you back home to die. He said, but we're going to take this biopsy here, and we're going to send it in and check it out. So the next, when he came back to my bed, he says, you know, this is a strange thing. I don't understand it. He said, but there was no cancer. He said, there's nothing wrong with you. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Because Father has met me. Oh, hallelujah. But I said, let me tell you, dear hearts, what do you think you all came here for? The hundreds of people, no, thousands of people sitting here. What did you come here for? Did you come to see a reed shaking in the wind? No, I tell you, you came to see greater than I. You came to see a great man, the prophet Noah, one greater than he. The Christ is with us today, and he has delivered us. I'll tell you, I said they wanted me to stay home, but I said I couldn't stay home. I just wanted to be under the shadow of the Almighty. They said, the righteous, just go. The righteous, there was a strong tower. And the righteous will run into it and be saved. Well, Father is that strong tower. And I could just run under the shadow of this strong tower. and his shadow passed over me, I know I would be delivered. And I was delivered, dear hearts, and I'm a strong, sound body today, healthier than ever before. And I want to give out this love that Father is giving out to us. Bless everyone.
Where the cancer disappeared also. Bless him. He healed the eye. He healed the eye that was lost to sight, and it healed the tumor. Is she happy today? Is she here? Right here. There she is. Blessed, blessed, blessed. So sweet. I presume that was she, but I wanted to be sure. It's just wonderful. These are the kind of testimonies that are coming in by the hundreds, where the picture becomes a contact. And something certainly much easier if you visualize God working through someone. I was so thrilled that they took the picture of Bishop Crane, because I want to look at that picture as I saw the emanation of truth working through him. People say, why do you use pictures? Well, you can see what God's using when you're using a picture. You can visualize the thing that has brought life to you. And I looked upon Bishop Crane's face, and down through the years, we're going to be able to enjoy the emanation of principle that worked through that man. It thrilled my soul and stirred my spirit when I heard him proclaim how he had a $65,000 home and had all these clothes, alligator shoes. But then when he came back from the dead, when the Spirit brought him back from the dead, and he was beckoned back, he gave his clothes away, he gave his shoes away, and he went down in the ghettos. And his church said, we don't want you anymore. You can go in the ghettos, but we don't want you or the people. And he walked away from a $1,500 salary. He would not compromise. He walked away from the biggest church, a presidency or treasurership of the whole state of Texas. He walked away from it all and said, I must see Jesus. I want a picture of somebody that is an instrument of God like that. And that's why people find healings through these pictures by the untold tens of thousands, because they have seen, their eye hath seen, their ear hath heard, their heart has been stirred. They have seen the emanation of the hundredfold God manifesting through this temple. And it triggers a faith in them, and it quickens their spirit, and it causes their mortal bodies to put on immortality. It causes because of people like our sister Evans, who would have died of this tumor and gone blind, but now is healed just because she had faith in the God that was working in this picture. Spirit. That's it. Last night we were all night in council, and it was a beautiful time. My heart was aching for a young woman that had come into the church. I didn't know what to do except mind the inner voice, but in the inside, my natural mind said, oh dear, fight the system, but I didn't. I listened to the spiritual voice, as I always do. She was guilty of crimes, not being in the fellowship, not under the umbrella of this holy teaching. She had been guilty of all kinds of crimes. And it was either flee because they were after her, flee or to turn herself in. So we debated till the wee hours of the morning. And she came to the conclusion she would turn herself in. We took her babies, promised to rear them, promised, of course, to be in the court, promised to get her out. Said, I don't want any bail. Said, you didn't take bail when they oppressed your black brothers.
you didn't take bail. You said you wouldn't take it. And you stood up for them and demanded their liberty and got it. She said, I'm going to go in and face whatever it is. And as they came and handcuffed her, she said, this is unusual. So these officers, when they were touched, they were white. They didn't know what to do with this. Said, this is unusual. We've never had anybody turn themselves in. We want to arrest you of your rights. Said, no need to do this. Said, you have a right to an attorney? Said, there's one sitting by me. The officer said, you know what you say to an attorney and what you say to a preacher is privileged. You don't have to give testimony. Said, I know that. Said, but they've taught me, I'm just paraphrasing, but she said, they've taught me what's right, and I'm going. She said, well, it's unusual. She said, I wouldn't go if it hadn't been for them. I want you to know, they took her down and they booked her, and because of this kind of life, they turned her loose. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Come. She's back with her babies. God Almighty! God! Come down. Back with her babies today. They arrested her at 3 o'clock this morning, and they turned her loose and said, go back to the church at 4. Right here she is up on the front. She said that when the report I understand was they praised the church and praised this action and let her go. And she had enough crimes to put her away for years. But my God Almighty! There she is, there she is. Just take a look at her waving her hand at you now. Good God, right here, right there. Good God. It's a good day, it's a good day. I said, yes, you heard me right. They used to book her. They booked her, they went through the process and all that, but they released her after they'd done that. You never heard tell of it in all your life. Tell of it in all your life. No, you never did. She'd forged hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of checks, but they let her go. Some man had used her, got her intoxicated, used her, had her mind completely gone until she was taking the money. But she didn't even give that side of the story. She just opened up her heart and did what the Spirit said to me inside to do. And I said, you won't suffer loss. And I said, you'll influence officers. You'll influence people. And before an hour was gone, they were praising the church down in the main jail. God Almighty. Spirit of God. Holy, holy, holy. In the twinkling of an eye. Hey, today, raising the dead. Oh, yes. Lie down and go. He's there. Oh, yes. Oh, we burn. Everything's dead in this PA system, or that it was dead until I grasped forth in a desperate act of faith here. My natural mind doesn't tell me to do this, but my spiritual mind tells me to grab a microphone, and I do what I'm told. And I also hear something else, because we're not going to let this happen. We're not going to let this happen. If you just stand where you are, Spirit, mind of God, truth. Wilson, Stella Wilson. Stella Wilson. Who is that? All right. Hands clasped. Hands clasped. Faith without works is dead. Keep your hands clasped. You were born on the 19th day of January.
Yes, I was.
All right. Hands clasped. You believe, all of you now, we've got to do, we're in troubled waters to begin with someone that is crippled. In a wheelchair. Hands clasped. It's not where my natural mind would go to start, but I'm glad the natural mind isn't the thing that leads us. Hands clasped again till you feel love like your own mother, your own father, or your own sister, if it was an auntie, or if it was a next-door neighbor. If you didn't like your father, your mother, get somebody in your visualization that you like. You've had 2 children, 2 daughters.
That's right.
One of them suffocated as an infant after having a bad seizure.
Yes, he did.
You felt so bad because you couldn't get anyone to come to you, your church, no one assisted you.
You're all alone.
The child, you felt that you had been responsible for the child
That's right.
losing its life.
That's right.
Your other daughter, Leola Palmer,
Leola, yeah.
lives in this area in Los Angeles. She has 6 children.
Yes.
I'm going to send a cloth with you which will take care of little Nina. This will heal her of that dreaded disease that we know as sickle cell anemia. Hands clasped to build your faith. Thank whoever you wish. If you wish to thank Jesus, as long as you don't have a segregationist Jesus. I thought when some were praising Jesus, it's terrible to know that you have to know what kind of Jesus you're following. Because there are many Jesuses. I looked at this television today, and all white audiences teaching people to hate black right on this television, and they were doing it in the name of Jesus. That's why you better have a living, real, righteous, and holy Jesus that teaches equality, that will cause you, like Brother Crane says, to go down into the ghettos, down where they're in the gap, in the hedge, in the highways, in the hedges, where there's no one to help them, but will take in all colors of the rainbow and serve all people. There are many Jesuses. I don't require that you see Jesus in me, as long as you see the right kind of a Jesus that loved the whole world, a Jesus that fought against the establishment, a Jesus that took on the system and refused to be involved in war or capitalism, that said the people must be free. He said to go into the prisons, into the highways, and go to the stranger and receive them, clothe the naked. That was the law of the prophets through Jesus. That was the demarcation line that he set in the day of judgment. He said, I was hungry, and he wasn't personally hungry, but he said, in a black or Indian or poor white was hungry, he said, there go I hungry. He said, in that one is naked, then you must clothe them. In that one is hungry, you must feed them. In that one is in prison, you must go to them. Like last night before this sister left, I had my brigade ready to go to prison. And I said, I don't seem to feel that we're going to need them. And they sent her back in 1 hour. Miracle! You have 4 sisters. Sister Wilson, is it? Wilson? 4 sisters.
Yes.
2 brothers.
Yes.
All of them are gone.
Yes.
Your sisters are Bessie, Ruth, Carrie, Elizabeth. Carrie, your favorite sister, was born on August. Listen to me now. You're all carried away. Born on August 9.
Yes, August 9. That's right.
Your brothers were George.
Yes.
And I don't seem to hear the other one, but it isn't important. It's not important. Mose?
Mose, yes.
All right. Hands clasped. Your husband worked for the railroad company for many years. He was a porter, and he was injured unloading heavy trunk, big heavy trunks.
Yes.
Big black heavy trunk I see in my mind.
Yes.
And after all that, they fired him just before he was due to get his pension because he was black.
And it was so bad.
And you just lost him. You just lost him back there in Louisiana last year. Well, it's good when Sister Bennett said to come. She said to come to my house because I'm going to give you a double portion of the Spirit today.
Thank God. Oh, thank God.
Hands clasped. For 8 long years you suffered with this condition, paralyzed with a stroke that affected your limbs, and arthritis of the spine, and your limbs have withered, your knees won't bend properly, and you can't stand. Now come on, folks, don't let your faith down. Now don't let your faith down now.
Help me, Jesus.
You saw the woman, Sister Cunningham. You walk around, Sister Cunningham. Don't crowd. People don't crowd her. Just let Sister Cunningham walk out of here that was paralyzed, that came all the way from Texas. You saw her dancing like a little child. I heal her, and I want you to take a look at her. I want you to take a look at her as she walks. You saw her dance like a child, moving her arms. Now, child.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
You got a little dog? You got a little dog. He's nearly 2,000 miles away from here. Over 2,000 miles, I see.
Yeah.
Casey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now on that, you know you've not told anyone anything about your life here?
No.
You've not told a soul.
No.
I don't know you.
No.
Now in the name of God, socialism, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Take your time, sister. Take your time. Don't, please, don't push, don't help. I mean, brother, don't, just. It's all right if you fall, try again. Up! I said in the name of the greatest name on earth, socialism. God is love. Love is socialism. In the name of that which I am, in my name, God, socialism, on your feet, 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 on your feet. All right. On your feet. On your feet. Nurse, Jack. Now, Spirit. Clear the line. Sister, has it been 8 years? 8 years. Now go. Now I want you to move faster. Move. In the name. Jesus. Sister, I want you to move back here faster. I know you're having trouble with your bladder. She's also got a growth on her bladder that's causing that pressure. You want to urinate. Don't worry about it. Just move fast now. Just move. You're not used to being on your feet. Now move them. Lift them up. Where are your feet? Why don't you try it? Lift them up. Spirit. Lift them up. God. Lift them up. Now don't let her go to the cancer until she gets better walking than that. She's got to get better walk than that. Again, go back. Move, sister. I command you in my name, the name of God. Listen. Now just lift your leg. Lift it. Lively, sister. Just go on. Now. On. Now, run! Go! All right. It's all right now. Get that cancer healed. Take it away. Get it healed. Blessed be the name of God. It's all right now, child. It's all right. Take her and get the cancer. Take it. It's all right now, child. Blessed, blessed. Praise his name. Praise his name. Almighty God. Yes, we serve. Yes, we serve. Yes, we serve. To the cripple. Is operative. There's a sister here that's discouraged about the broken bones that you have. 3 of them. Now you keep your faith. You keep your faith because the stream is moving. If we'll be honorable in faith and you do your part in your offering today, sister, if you make your commitment, and by the way, everyone should make it now, as humbly as we can, because it's a day of opportunity. This is a day of opportunity. Each of you get your envelopes and make a just contribution to this holy cause. There's no other cause that can cause cripples to walk. There's no other cause that can cause people to have cancers drop. That's for the meanie. There's no other cause that can cause cancer to fall off the face from pictures and open blinded eyes. There's no other cause. Good God. This woman's a stranger to me. I have never met her in my life, but the Spirit of God has met her and made her ever whole. And I suppose none but Sister Bennett has met her. I do not know her, but I shall say this. The same Spirit can raise you and will raise the one I just promised. It will raise you. Did you hear what I said? Keep your faith and let that faith be. I don't care how infirm you are, but right now I believe that it is most in order that everyone take an envelope and give as generously, because yesterday we had 3 people leave this building, just as I warned you. 1 was shot, called back in, left this building. Another loved one, the son, was shot. Another one was stabbed. And the only one that was able to keep their protection called on me last night. Someone was about to be stabbed and you called Jim. Yes, yes. And it saved you. But what time was it? After 12 o'clock. All right. Now please, each of you take your envelope and be as generous as you can. Because if we have to appeal, you'll lose your protection. To whom much is given, much is required. No Cadillacs here, no Lincolns here. There's no alligator shoes here. There's no wristwatch even on this wrist. There's no rings. It's all been turned in for the people's ministry. And we have the senior citizen homes, the convalescent centers, the orphans home, the children's home rather, and the glorious dormitories with 109 students. 2 of our minority students now studying medicine that would not have had it if it had not been for this church. We've got the proof of our work. You can just look around at the facilities here and in Redwood Valley and see that salvation has come to this house. And if anything you wish to pledge, put it down. Word of encouragement to someone that thinks that they're in trouble over the telephone, and we'll take care of that. They think they're in trouble. They've been stopped in a city outlying, and they think they're in trouble, but I just told him that if they would follow 2 simple instructions, they would be free. And this spirit is not confined to this room. If you'll have faith, you can project it, and you'll find people healed that you love everywhere. If you will not encompass me or try to restrict me to this particular zone. Now before you give, look in your heart. Sister on the front row stand that was dead for 2 hours. Show them. 2 hours, and when I told you she would come back, she was free of arthritis. Yes, my God. Look at the sister there, 97 years of age, Sister Ever, that was dying of a respiratory condition, and I lifted her till now she cooks in one of those beautiful self-managing senior citizen homes. Look at the sister in the second row there, operated 5 times for cancer. Mix, the sister that was 5 years in a wheelchair, just like this woman, 8 years. Now she's out. This is 5 years. What did 5 years do? 5 years. Now walking. 5 long years. Now you see the salvation of God. There they are. And I could go on down the list. There's a woman given up with cancer, spread all over her body. The Reverend's wife, Church of God pastor's wife, healed. Cancer all over her body. And it went away. When they went to the doctor, he was amazed. It was all gone. You have a responsibility to this. Now, if we were buying Cadillacs, it'd be different. But we've got people's buses out there. We've got a lake, a pond up there with catfish that feed everybody in this house and all your grandbabies and all your in-laws and outlaws. We've had so many catfish and we've got to transport them to other ponds. You say, what are you getting all those catfish for? You better stick close, because I know something you don't. Say, I'm in Houston. Well, you're now part of us. Brother and Sister Crane, you ought to all follow Brother and Sister Crane. There ought to be that people's mission right down there, and you ought to all follow them as they're following the Christ that's in this work. And when the time comes, we'll bring you up there for those catfish ponds. And if you don't come, you'll perish. You'll be notified 2 weeks before the time. But when we say come, you drop whatever you're doing. Don't you look back in the house. Don't you go back and look on the roof. Don't you go back to give suck. Did you hear what I said? Don't you even go back to give suck to any old idea or opinion, any old infant that you've been trying to cradle along. Don't you give suck to any old child. I'm not talking about natural because it's a parable. Don't you be sucking anything then. You just leave all that old system. Sister, I said the day that was prevented her life was saved here, she said, can I be in a certain church back there and serve you? I said, no. Follow Sister Crane and Brother Crane. That's the only ones. I said, you cannot, and there's no way. You're going to have to come out. Our sister like this that sings, you're going to have to come out from amongst those unclean vessels back there. You're never going to be able to sit back under pastors' anniversaries anymore. You'll be unclean. You'll be unclean. You sit back under pastors' wives' teas and pastors' anniversaries and pastors' birthdays and pastors' appreciation day, you'll be unclean. I said, come out. I said, come out and be ye separate. You heard Reverend Hill, this precious minister who stood up here and told you about the cancer that he was healed of, and his wife, they're in their 80s, and his sister, the back brace that she'd worn all those years, he didn't get it by staying in an institution. He came out. I say, you can't stay in. If you want to come out of your wheelchairs, don't go visiting those old strop churches, those jackleg preachers next Sunday, because you never get healed. I said it and I'll say it again with or without this microphone working right. Be ye separate. Be ye separate. Be ye not again entangled with the yoke of bondage. Stand fast in the liberty wherewith this Christ has made you free, and be not a slave again. We need to get rid of all of our slave names and all of our slave church names and separate ourselves. Come out, because you'll find no place that can heal people and bring them back. 209 people in this ministry in Los Angeles raised from the dead in public auditoriums. 209. Across this nation, it has been reportedly 1,673 that were dead, like brother here that was in the morgue and was going to do an autopsy. We've had witnesses just like that here in Los Angeles where they were in the morgue, and we had one in Dallas, Texas, where they were in the morgue, and she would not be denied, and she ran through the morgue and put the picture on her child, and up from the grave he rose. But I'll tell you this, the race goes to the swift. The price is high. You cannot carry along that carcass of the old church system, because it'll kill you. You know what dead bodies do if they're wrapped around you? They'll destroy you. And the old church system, the institutions of man, made by the honky slave system, they will kill you, they will destroy you, they will rob you of your first love. You've got to separate yourself and come out. I hope you heard me well. I don't get many amens when we talk about this, but I said you have to come out. Be ye holy, even as I am holy. Be ye separate, even as I am separate. Be ye clean, even as I am clean.
Hallelujah.
Blessed. Now, I was taking an offering, not for a man, but for the cause of God. I won't handle a penny of it. But will you get your offerings in quickly? Everyone should have an envelope today. If you wish to remain in the Lamb's book, you better respond to what you've seen today. Peace. Thursday raised from the dead, going there down the aisle. See her? She doesn't look like she's dead now. Front row. Front of the left row. Well, it's warm in the house, but I'm glad for one thing, it's warm in the heart here today. God is real. If now our sister, no, I hear a word. I hear a word. I was going to ask our sister to sing, but we must proceed. And a cure. Blessed, 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 blessed. Hands clasped, hands clasped, hands clasped, blessed, blessed. Now give her the instruction I told you now. Give her the instruction. The nurse, Jack, the nurse got to give her instruction. She's got to follow it. Hands clasped, please. Come here, come here. Turn the fan on. Follow through. Blessed. It's the warmest day I've ever had in Los Angeles, but it's the effective day. It's a day when we're going to get some things done. I like the challenge of heat. A lot of these preachers even mentioned me on the radio today, and so we got people coming here to see. Well, I let them see, and I'm not finished yet. Stand up and sit down just once. Counted. Passed in front of everyone. There will be one day when everybody will have to follow and get out of here. You won't be following a Pied Piper, you'll be following the voice of one crying in the wilderness. Last. One woman here that spit up the cancer. And before we had through, we had to get it out of 2 more people. Don't let that happen because of lack of sympathy. You've got to have feeling. The other night a woman, was it Thursday, wasn't it? Fell dead back here with a stroke. Paralyzed on her entire side. And then her lifeless condition. Heart stopped. Unloving attitudes caused it. Ungenerous, uncharitable attitudes caused it. I went back and worked over her with feverish love and compassion and restored her, brought her back. But I want to tell you there, yes, my precious, yes. But I want to tell you, the ones that caused it, she looks good and lively now, but the ones that caused it were in some serious trouble. Later that morning following, we got a message from one, Carol Timmons, said she didn't like who she was sitting by. And she